The regional economics of climate change in Southeast Asia is a vitally important study. It's the first regional study of adaptation and mitigation to have taken place. I'm delighted that this has been led in the Asia Development Bank, which has for some time had a strong and interesting approach to the challenge of climate change. The countries involved are wide-ranging: Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam and Thailand. All, of course, very different countries with different kinds of challenges. But many of the challenges in Southeast Asia of adaptation, of course, are common across countries. All of those countries have challenging problems of rising sea level. All of them would be faced with serious problems of changing patterns of storms. Rivers will be quite strongly affected. Rainfall and its timing and its volume will be affected. All these, in their different ways, are very important to the experience of the countries of the challenge of climate change, and in particular, in the cases that I've just described, adaptation. Adaptation is going to be absolutely essential. The climate will change because what we've already done in the past and what we will be doing in the future. And it will be developing countries themselves that are hit earliest and hardest. It will be developing countries themselves which have to shape their own adaptation plans and their adaptation strategies. But they have every right to look to the rich world, because most of the emissions that have taken place in the past have been in the rich world. The concentrations that we see in the atmosphere now, the big majority of them come from the rich world. So we must place responsibility where it lies. The rich world must stand to support the developing world in making its adaptation decisions and investments. But of course they have to get together and collaborate into how that's done, and the Regional Development Bank, Asia Development Bank, will be a key player in that story. So I welcome these plans very much. I hope that you have a good launch. I'm sure that you will, and I know that this is a terribly important piece of work. Looking beyond adaptation, of course, we must ask about moving to a low-carbon economy, and it will be for everybody to move to a low-carbon economy. We all have to be cutting back on emissions if we are to manage the risks of climate change, if the challenge of adaptation is not to get out of hand. And that's why mitigation must be part of these studies as well, and of course was part of the studies as well. Again, the challenge of finding ways to support the actions of developing countries will be at the heart of the story, but again, the mitigation plans themselves, the movement to the low-carbon economy, has to be designed and shaped by the country which is itself trying to overcome poverty and adapt to a changing environment at the same time as it pursues low-carbon growth. So again, the rich countries can find ways of supporting. Carbon finance will be very important. Overseas development aid will be very important. Private investment important, and the various tools that the international development banks can bring in terms of guarantees and support for technology and so on, they'll also be very important. So I started with adaptation. That's urgent, it has to come. Mitigation is also urgent, and that is something where the plans of these countries, of all the countries in the region, have to be shaped and formed now, again with outside support. So congratulations on the work on mitigation too, and on bringing adaptation and mitigation together in the regional economic analysis of climate change. So good luck, and congratulations on your work.